Good evening and welcome to another episode of A Feast of Films for a very special Halloween episode.
Ooh.
With your hosts, Count Matt Blackula.
I want to suck your blood. Yo.
And Ethan Stein.
Ooh.
Hello, my fellow movie fans, and welcome back to our second part, our very special Halloween episode. This time on Halloween.
Ooh. Trick or treat.
I'm Ethan R. Hill, and with me as always is
Matt Black. What's up, guys?
Do you got treats with you, Matt, or no?
I got some dill pickle chips. I was gonna eat them, but then I was like, eating on a podcast generally isn't the greatest thing. That's
you don't want to.
That's a great audio entertainment. Just yeah, no.
We learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I figured I would just chill out on the dill pickle chips. I'll eat them when we're done, I guess.
That's fair.
They're just staring at me.
I have like Mars bars next to me, but like they're far away, and like my computer and the microphone is all just right in front of me, so I can't reach them without like disrupting this entire thing.
Yeah.
And like I didn't eat a lot for supper, so like I'm starting to get kind of hungry, and it's like, okay, but Ethan, you have water and pop behind you. It's fine. You don't need anything else.
I hear that, man.
It's too late anyway. You shouldn't be eating this late. That's how you get nightmares. It's mainly how I get indigestion.
That's how it happens, man. Nightmares and heartburn. That's the combination we're going with tonight. Now that's gonna be the scariest. If that is the scariest thing we talk about tonight, like, well deserved. It is a terrifying thing. Nightmares and heartburn.
It is because it's a signifier of
savage
age.
Combination.
Man, do you remember the days when we could go to McDonald's whatever time we wanted to and eat whatever we wanted to and not worry about the repercussions of anything?
No.
Really?
Dude, I've always looked at a peanut and gained 20 pounds. I have like the worst metabolism. But I also remember just going and eating whatever I want anyway. So, fun times. I was never really worried about it. We used to when Alex was living with us, like on the weekends, man, we'd do like 3 a.m. McDonald's run. Yeah. Every single weekend, like Friday, Saturday, didn't matter, man. 3 a.m, like, yeah, let's go get our McChickens. And we'd go drive to the McDonald's, get like 3 little junior chickens each and like rock and roll. Except the one time, the one by our house was closed. So they're like, damn, we got to go to 8th Street. So we drove all the way to 8th Street to get like some junior chickens. And then the lady who was working there was like really, really grumpy. Like, we're like, hey, well, let's get like 6 junior chickens. She's like, really? We're like,
yeah, it's a McDonald's.
Yeah. And she's like, anything else? We're like, a smile? Like, smile with that. Like, it is McDonald's. Like, that seems like a reasonable response. Then we got to the window. She pretty much like threw them in our car. We're like, the smile? We don't see it in here. Just like took off.
You, like, again, you're working the night shift. You know what to expect.
Well, like, I kind of felt bad after the fact. Like, maybe she's just having a terrible day, but like, come on, let's be honest.
I don't know,
you're working in a restaurant. Like, you still got to at least try to be like pleasant, you know? We didn't start it. She started it. Well, we didn't start it. She started.
When I was in Red Deer at film school and stuff like that, we would edit overnight. Like, there were literally some days where I would be in the editing room until like 5 a.m, go home, sleep for 2 hours, come back for school. Like, because I'd sleep until 7, get up, get ready for the day, and then go to school for 8.
Yeah.
Like, there were days where there were no sleep, but half the time what we'd do is we'd walk. There was McDonald's in walking or driving distance, and depending on how nice the weather was, we would either drive or we'd drive or walk there. We'd get there, and we actually became enough of regulars that the
late
guy
night
knew,
regulars.
Yeah, they knew who we were. They would always They basically know our orders unless we changed it up, which not a lot of us did. And it got to a point where if we didn't order a drink, the dude would just give us free small drinks.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
Like, he'd just be like, oh, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. He knew us all. He knew who we were. Like, it was so cool. And that was like 2 years. Like, and at what point I ended a relationship with somebody. And they asked me where this person was when I went there without them the next time. And it's like,
You're like, oh, we broke up.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But,
though, talking about it just makes me want to go on like a midnight McDonald's run right now. Like
also,
right now. Like,
but also
dude,
COVID.
let's just like, well, yeah, but like, come on, let's just pause the podcast, go get McDonald's. If you're listening
man.
to this on Halloween, just go get some McDonald's late night for us, okay? Just do it, and when you do it, think of us.
But here's the thing,
I
Matt.
really want some late night McDonald's right now.
Here's the thing, Matt. I don't need to go anywhere because I have an app called Skip the Dishes, which we are not sponsored by in the slightest.
No, we are not.
But
We're not sponsored by anyone.
Exactly. Can someone please sponsor us? Please give us money to do this.
But for real, guys, if you're out trick-or-treating, get us some late night McDonald's. Think of us. Get a junior chicken for me.
I might just actually order food on Halloween night anyway. Or stop on the way home because I'm working Halloween, so I might just I'll be at work when you guys are listening to this, so enjoy that. I'll probably be maybe I'll hit the drive-thru on the way home. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Gotta enjoy the little things.
Yep. Yeah, sanitize. Wipe things down. You'll be good.
Exactly.
Anyway, should we get on with the actual show instead of talk about McDonald's? Because it just makes me hungry.
I mean, like, me too. This has not been a good way to start this because I'm just like hungry as is, and now it's like
now I'm just like now I'm like, man, I really want some McDonald's right now. Yeah, this was not like the grandest way to start our episode. But it's Halloween. The day is finally here for ghosts, ghouls, and goblins to come out of their hidey holes and ruin your day.
And stay away from our house.
Or make your day. Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
if you're into that, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on if that's your thing. If you're into goblins and ghouls.
Gabagool.
Gabagool. And if it is not right, I will send it back.
Gabagool. Oh man.
Then I'll have the salad.
If the salad does not come on, send it back. Oh man.
That is one of the most uncomfortable episodes. Like, there are more uncomfortable ones, but that one just always makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's the server.
Scott's Tots has got to be the worst, though. Like, that's got to be, like, straight up the worst, man. Scott's Tots.
I don't know, because it's the interaction with the server that makes me so uncomfortable. Because, like, I just feel for that person who has no idea what's going on.
Okay, you can't tell me that's more uncomfortable though than Scott's Tots, man.
Scott's Tots,
like they're putting on a performance with him, and he hasn't told them he's not paying for their college tuition. Like, well,
I mean, if you look at it, it's like a Bug's Life. They're putting on a performance for the killer bugs, and they haven't told them that they're not killer bugs. See, it's the same thing. That movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, but it's Michael Scott.
But that's the thing. But it's Michael Scott. By the time we got to that point in The Office, I assumed that's
Oh, but it was so great.
Has it been 10 years already?
Yeah. Stanley's just busted a gut.
But
hey, Mr. Scott, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to make our dreams come true? He's like, I got some batteries. But you can take online courses with your very own laptop, which you will need batteries for.
His heart was in the right place.
Man, the fact that they actually believed it, though, is probably their fault. Like, to be honest, like,
I don't know.
Like, it's not like he's a billionaire, man. Like, I don't know. You're like, you get pitched that.
He works at your local paper.
Like, kid is gonna pay for all your tuition. Like, that doesn't even seem like a realistic thought. But I mean, damn, that episode was funny because it went from tuition, and then they thought, oh man, we're getting laptops. It's like, nah, man, you get laptop batteries. Just. Sorry guys, I just had a moment there. I love The Office. It just cracks me up. Super funny. Let's get on with the episode though. Come on, let's quit talking around here.
Well, speaking of
we're gonna have to edit this.
Speaking of things that make you uncomfortable though, Matt. like Scott's Tots. We're gonna talk
man.
about this Halloween. We're gonna talk about ghost movies, possession movies, the things that really make Matt uncomfortable. Not monsters like on the last episode, but the things that actually make him squirm and cry when things go bump in the night.
Yeah, all my scariest things, like I told you guys, is pretty much like ghost films and such. Those are the things that get me. They get me.
So is Paranormal Activity your favorite ghost movie then? And is it a ghost movie, or is it does it actually turn out to be like demon?
Well, it is demon.
It's
It
a
is
demon
demonic,
movie. Okay,
right?
so it's
And but again, this is kind of what we're talking about last episode when we're talking like monsters. Like there's so many things you can fit under these different categories that have subcategories in them. So really to define them, you're splitting hairs, right? Like demons and ghosts generally turn out to be some pretty close to the same type of movies. You can do them pretty much the exact same way without ever referencing what it is. But I think the term demon also gets tacked on to more poltergeist activity, right?
That's
fair. Any type you have a spirit that's maybe more aggressive or hostile. Like a lot of the terms, sometimes demons just get attached to those films when it's not necessarily the case. In Paranormal Activity, though, it was a legitimate demon that was terrorizing the house. But you kind of find that out a little bit later on, as you go and you learn the history of everything behind it. But yeah, I think actually maybe even mentioned in that movie. I can't quite remember every single moment, but no, it ended up being a demonic movie and ultimately a movie of possession in the end, right? Because it was it was a very I would say very realistic take to how possession kind of works. A lot of the times we look at possession and we think oh yeah, it's just instantaneous, all of a sudden you're just taking over kind of thing, right? But then in that kind of case you're underestimating the will of humans. Humans have pretty strong will. If we want to be in control of our body, we're probably going to be in control of our body. But what the demon did, through the fear and the things it was doing, it gained more strength. And as it gained more strength and did more shit, it broke down her will bit by bit by bit by bit until she had nothing left to fight with, right? And that's when it got her. That's when it gets you, right? That's when it takes over, when you can't fight any longer. So that's why it was a really interesting movie, and also pretty terrifying when you're looking at it, because it is a very it's not like those other films that have the nuns or this image or that image or this visualization. It was this very realistic, thought out approach to how a lot of possessions actually kind of take place and work, if you believe in that sort of thing. Some people do, some people don't. I tend to believe in that sort of stuff because I also believe in God and angels, and if there's one side of the coin, you also have to have the other. I don't think you can really believe in one side without believing in the other.
I have met several people who choose to believe in one side and not believe in the other.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess you can choose to, but it's
the logic.
A blind.
The logic is if I don't believe in it, it can't hurt me, and I'm
it can't get me.
That's not how things work. If I don't believe in that tiger, it can't eat me. No, the tiger is still gonna eat you. It's there. Yeah. Be aware of it and keep your distance. Be aware of it. You don't have to completely ignore it, but be aware. It's
a lot of the chances. Yeah, a lot of the chances of you interacting with those types of spirits though, or something like that, actually being in your life, is pretty slim to none, right? And that's why there's so much disbelief about it, because the majority of people don't experience. If every other family and their dog was getting something happening, obviously everyone would be oh no, this is something you got to watch out for. It'd be like the new Jaws, but you can't fight it, and it's in your house. You know what I mean?
But again, shark attacks and tiger attacks are also very rare too. So it's
exactly. But but you know what I mean, right? But people can see tigers, people can see sharks, so they're real. So you're
the Johnsons had that possession. If possessions happen as much as they do in the movies, then it's down the street they
Yeah,
moved out again.
yeah.
The house
And if
is
they're
for
actually like
sale.
talked about, right? Like, and that's the thing too. Even if people told told their story, it's like whether people believe it or not is like up in the air too, right? Like until you have your own types of experiences where you would believe in something beyond it. Like I believe like
Yeah.
there's obviously like life beyond our life. There's different types of realms, there's different types of entities and spirits that exist like within kind of not like in our world, or maybe they are in our world. It's kind of a hard idea to explain, but like different types of realms and such like that. But
Yeah.
no, but like there definitely things exist. But the thing is, again, like you're not going to be experiencing that type of thing so rarely. Like sometimes like ghosts are different because those are human spirits. Like demons were never human, right? um Ghosts are a little different. Those are human spirits, and those like maybe you might have slight interactions with. Um, Sometimes like in your dreams, like if you see like old family or old friends, like that's sometimes like a spiritual visit. Those types of things. But like obviously like in some houses, like those are kind of the ones you see in the movies, where there's a ghost that maybe lived there before and doesn't want you there, or that those types of things as well. And that was also in Conjuring, right? Like the second one. Like I think an old man lived in that house
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Bear
And like the demon was
Wilkins.
yeah, the demon was like manipulating that ghost, right? Because like ghosts are just people who are still here, kind of thing. But yeah, so there is like a difference between the two. The movies tend to like stick them very much close together and use them in the same way. Demons are obviously the much more malevolent and threatening because they're not human, and their only goal is, destruction, pain, death, those types of things. So, fun conversation, and that's again why Ouija boards aren't coming back in my damn house. You know what I mean? Like again,
Man,
your chances are
you're
low,
really
but if
set
you're
on this
using
no
a
Ouija boards thing.
dude, like it's not even funny. Like I would throw it out. I would like burn it and like throw it in the river. Like,
Doesn't work,
get
man.
that shit
It
out of
doesn't
here.
work. They come back.
Get it out of here, man. Like it just keeps coming back. I would lose it.
Those are some stories
But like
I've heard, but like
oh, dude. But like the whole thing is like you're not gonna be experiencing these things. Like maybe if it's like a really old house, or someone was doing some type of rituals or some kind of crap in your house. Maybe they open up something they're not supposed to. But again, Ouija boards are a great way to open up and to invite something into your life that you don't want it there for. So,
just like cans of Coke are opened up to bring diabetes into mine.
exactly. That's a very great astute perception. But no, like and those films are very much classified together, and they're used very similar in the same ways. Demonic ones though usually do end with some sort of like possession taking place, where like ghost ones maybe they just leave the house kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's been weird because like I've actually been also making an effort in like expanding my it's all fiction based that I go off of, but like expanding my ghostly knowledge, and there are ghosts that do take possession of people as well.
Yeah, that's it is a slightly different possession, but yeah.
Well, it depends on it depends on what the ghost or the spirit wants
Yeah.
out of why they have their unfinished business, why they're still sticking around, right? It kind of it
Yeah.
depends on the motivations, right? So like I don't know. I don't know. I don't have much to say on I don't know. It's hard to it's hard to start a topic with this because it's such a broad topic.
It
It's
is, yeah.
similar
And then
it's similar to the monster one, right? Where it's like you need to kind of figure
yeah.
out like what exactly defines well, I mean, like again, we're talking about ghost and possession movies. They're two very different things. There are ghost movies that have possessions in them, but I don't think there are any possession movies that. Yeah, no, like that's basically it. That's I think possession movies, aside from the ones that are just demonic based, similar to The Exorcist. I don't really think that. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. And like a lot of times, like specifically, again, going to The Exorcist because I just rewatched this, so I can talk about it. With The Exorcist, the demon Pazuzu actually poses as a spirit before.
Mhm.
Like, 'cause
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. Yeah,
it's actually what I love about
very
it. 'Cause
common in those films.
it's
Yeah,
super subtle, and it's like it's a part of the plot. It's there, but it's a part that everyone forgets. Is like the whole reason that happens is because she gets a Ouija board. She finds one in the basement and starts talking to this guy named Captain Howdy, which turns out to be the demon Pazuzu. And like it's really like it's such a throwaway thing because after it happens, it's suddenly not about the Ouija board anymore. That's not the source of evil. That's not where it came from. It allowed the evil to enter, but it was the tool to use that, but after that it's served its purpose. It's done.
yeah,
And I kind of like that. I like the fact that it wasn't this big refocus on like, oh, but the Ouija board, we need to destroy that. No, it's like,
well, no, like, and that's kind of like the Ouija board's job. Like, it's just a doorway.
it's a conduit.
Like, that's all it is. It's like, yeah, you're just opening up something.
Well, that's
like what comes through, you don't know. Like, that's the thing.
going back to, I think it's what you said last time. The thing I love about The Exorcist too is it actually what you were saying, where like where was it earlier? I don't remember if it was earlier in this episode or if it was last time, but it was where it's like
we don't even know anymore.
It was when when you said that people think possession just happens.
Well, that was like literally like
was that literally 20
like 10 minutes ago.
I don't know,
that was like this episode.
Dude, we recorded last week's episode literally an hour ago, so it doesn't matter.
Little peek behind the curtains there for you.
Pay no attention. But like
Ooh.
The Exorcist is a great example of that because the possession doesn't just show up. It literally that's why there's like it's literally the first hour of it, if not more, is them going to doctors, them trying to figure out what's wrong with her, and possession is the last thing they consider. Yeah, and even then, like when they consider it, they're like, oh well, she thinks she's possessed by a demon. So it's obviously like we need to do something that's going to snap
a
her
mental
out of that.
thing.
Yeah. That's the whole reason. Like I love that movie because of that. And at the end of the day, it's also a story about rediscovering your faith and having that will. Because like the demon when he possesses the Reagan, he wears her down and breaks her will, so she can't fight him as well.
Yeah.
Whereas at the end, when the demon jumps into Karis, he already is ready to fight, and that's why he can overpower it right away and can kill himself and get rid of the demon. Like it's such a man, that's a movie I could just talk about forever. Like it's so good, and there's so many things like that I just pick up.
That's
there's
one that like just creeps
on.
me out so hard though. Like
The Exorcist
I would. Oh, dude! Like when that movie came out, man. Like there was mass suicides. Like people were killing themselves after like watching that film. Like seriously, when it came out, like it was such a groundbreaking film as far as like what we used to like what was shown on the screen, right?
Well, even effects
and
wise,
like,
too. Like
well, that's what I'm saying,
content,
right? Like the effects and like the content of it. And what people were prepared for, like nowadays, you put that out, people be like, "Oh yeah, like that's sick as it's creepy as hell," but like it's
we've
acceptable.
seen it before.
Yeah, like back in those days, it's like that was something that was very like intense, and it was intense for like a lot of people. Like yeah, like a lot of people like there was like mass suicides after that film came out, and like not for any like demonic reason, but people just couldn't handle it. Like they couldn't handle that shit, right? But for me, like obviously I'm not gonna kill myself, but like there's like,
you still can't, you still don't do it.
But there's a lot of things. Yeah, like that movie is a hard movie for me to watch. Very much like Paranormal Activity. The big one though, like again, last week we talked about those little moments that like stick with you, those images that like, those are the things that scare you. They send like a shiver down your spine. And it's when she crabs walks down the stairs, man. That like just image of that just freaks me right the hell out. Like I can't handle that. Like anytime I see anyone crab walking, like a gymnast or whatever, like I just like not Matt. No, actually, God, that just made me think of something else that I remember. Oh, okay, I got chills. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Goosebumps. It actually that just made me think of another video that I remember seeing years ago. I can't remember if we were still in high school or not, or if it was one like Chris sent me. It was one of this soccer player, like he was just playing, like he got knocked over, and then he started like running backwards, like in a really effed up way, and then like bent over, and then like literally, like he didn't die, but like then he just went unconscious. Like it was like this really weird body like I don't know if his like nerves just spazzed out or like what was
Yep.
going on there. It looked effed up. And I'm not saying that was like a demon or anything, but like but it's like those
But
type
low
of
key.
visuals like but again, no, what I'm saying is because of that film, any type of weird body contortions or type movements that seem very unnatural freak me out and give me chills. It's very much the same as like when things move without anything to actually push. It's like that same idea, right? But like there we go
Okay.
again. Like the things that actually scare us tend to be like these little moments or these little things that like stick into our brain and then create these weird little fears or like things that like give us goosebumps. So because of that movie, like anytime people like do weird body shit, I'm like, it kind of freaks me out. Like it just like anything that looks unnatural kind of freaks me out there.
See, and
But
for
anyway,
me,
back
that's
to your
like
point.
for me, that's like the funniest part of the movie. Like that part is like one of the parts that did not age well. Like
No,
it's
like it's
not
pretty ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous, but like the idea of it,
like,
I
oh
did
yeah,
not like
imagine like,
that.
dude, like imagine you're just chilling at home and then suddenly just like one of your family members walks down, crab
Dude,
walks
like
down the
no, don't
stairs.
even.
Like,
Oh my god, like why would you say that? See now, like that's gonna be in my head. Like now, I got chills again right now, man. Like, cause that literally is just one of the images and the things that's like, that's so ingrained in my head that like anytime, like if I think about or picture it, like if I saw that, I would just lose my shit, man. Like I would just, I don't know if I'd like kick him or what, like just like boot him. I don't know.
isn't there
I
a
don't
movie where
know.
that happens like in the background, like someone's opening a door, looking down the hallway, and like one of their family members like crab walks like from one room to the other?
Oh, probably. That sounds something
I
like
have an image stuck in my head. That's
when you
weird.
mention mention that, like that sounds like something that would happen. But oh man, now I got chills down my back, and it's not like the good ones. Like I got the chills and I'm
And they're
tingling and
multiplying.
I'm losing control. Yeah, multiplying and they're multiplying. This is the
It's
bad ones. That's like
electrifying.
God, ooh. This is like, damn it.
But
Now I'm
Matt,
not gonna want to open my office door. Be like,
that's what this time of year is for, Matt.
That's exactly it. Welcome to All Hallows Eve, baby. Anyway, continuing on. Because I don't want to talk about body contortions anymore.
Like I'll talk about one. I'll talk about one that's more like more tame and it's more like it's not family friendly, but like it's one that like it's PG-13. I'd show it to
Yeah.
kids at a certain age, but like that's Poltergeist. Like that's another
Mm-hmm.
ghost film that I just absolutely adore. I love and I watch it every Halloween. It's not even super Halloweeny. Like it's just I think it actually takes place in July. I think,
Yeah, something like that.
but
It's like
but it's
summertime.
it's just it's a really good one. It's a good family dynamic. It's just fun to watch, and it makes the Star Spangled Banner kind of creepy, and TV's creepy. Like that
It
white
makes
noise, it
TVs
kind of
creepy. Yeah, yeah.
it made white noise creepier than the movie White Noise made white noise.
White Noise was not
Like
creepy. That was a dumb movie.
no, exactly, and like Poltergeist has like a couple scenes with white noise in it, and it made it more terrifying than the movie that the entire like took that premise and made an entire movie around it,
Yeah.
and it was meh. Like it's just it's good and it's I don't know, man. I just love it. Like it's just one of those ones that I recommend to everybody. It's kind of cheesy, and there's some things that didn't age well,
Right.
but I mean, like that's pretty well any older movie, except for The Exorcist apparently, because that still gives Matt the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah,
Gives
I'm not
you
even
some.
thinking about it anymore, man. I've moved on. Mentally, I have to move on.
You have to move on.
I have to move on. See, this is why people commit suicide. They couldn't move on. They're just like, nope, that's it, man. Like, I'm done. I can't get that shit out of my head. I'm out of here. And that's probably actually
See,
exactly what happened. It's probably messed
I
up a lot
spent
of people.
I have this weird thing with ghost movies, and like my favorite ghost movies are either really old ones or like ones from the 90s.
Yeah.
Because like Peter Jackson's third film or four, no, not his third film, that's His third film was Dead Alive. That's a zombie gory fest.
Mm-hmm.
The film he did before Lord of the Rings is called The Frighteners. Have you seen The
Okay.
Frighteners?
I don't think so.
That's one you would enjoy. It's Michael J. Fox in it, and it's basically this guy. He pretends to be a paranormal investigator because he sees ghosts and can talk to ghosts, and they can talk to him.
Yeah.
But he stages a bunch of fake hauntings in order to make money.
Fair
And
enough.
like it's actually a really good story, kind of
Hmm.
heartwarming because he has to overcome like the death of his wife and like all this other stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a feel good one. It's pretty weird at some points, but it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I never heard of it.
Definitely, you should definitely check it out. I feel like that's gonna be what this segment is. It's gonna be like me talking about ghost movies you've never heard about, and then you talking about ghost movies I've never heard about.
Like, you should check those out.
Well, because again, like the other ones I liked were The Haunting, not the '90s. There's a '90s, so
I think that was the one
The
I was talking
Haunting-
about last episode when I was like, that one film, it was The Haunting, and I think it had like Owen Wilson, didn't have Owen Wilson in
Yeah,
it, and he
okay,
lost his head.
Yeah,
Yeah, that movie was dumb. I mean, it
So,
wasn't scary at all,
okay.
but like, it was, yeah.
So there's a whole thing with this because there's that new series which actually yes it was that. So The Haunting at Hill House
Yeah,
is actually a remake of the book
that
The
movie was
Haunting
based
off.
Yeah, that's what
But there was another interpretation of it back in the '60s, which is
Okay.
actually really good. I really like it. It's black and white, solid ghost flick, like
Okay.
really well done.
Yeah.
And then the '90s happened and made a bunch of stupid ghost flicks.
Yeah,
And,
those are pretty bad. That
But
movie was
there's
pretty
some
bad.
there's some that I love. The Haunting is not one of them. The original Haunting, yes, and I read the book too. The book was great, and the new show was also good, but it did some weird things with it. But it was still really good. That '90s remake was terrible, but the
think we can
'60s
agree.
the '60s version, it's one of my favorite ghost movies. I go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
There's another one called The Innocents. Wait, I have a ghost parody movie that I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like think Mel Brooks kind of style film, but with ghost paranormal activity kind of thing, but like
Yeah.
not modern paranormal activity, like specifically riffing off like '60s ghost movies.
Yeah, I
So
got
just
you.
a bunch of research into those. So there was the other two that I watched was The Uninvited from 1945,
Okay.
which is kind of cheesy and kind of goofy, but also just a really solid ghost flick.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Innocents, which is about it's got so The Innocents has two things because it's got ghosts and creepy children, but not creepy ghost children. I don't think I need to rewatch it.
Fair
But,
enough.
it's basically this lady gets hired on to be like the caretaker of these two kids, and just a bunch of creepy stuff happens. That's honestly 90% of ghost movies is like they get hired to do this thing and then creepy things.
Or they like buy a new house in the middle of
And then
nowhere
creepy
that's like
things.
old and creepy. That's why I'm not buying any old creepy houses either.
Man, I could just list off like I feel like that's gonna be most of this conversation to me just listing off ghost movies I
Like,
love because I don't have much more to say about them.
They call them
Like-
character houses, and I'm just like, nah, man. Like I ain't
That's
going to
too
those.
much character.
There's too much character in those houses for me, baby. Yeah, true that.
The three '90s ghost films that I absolutely love, absolutely adore, and they're not good. One of them I think is pretty fun, but like they're not good,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 13 Ghosts, The House on Haunted Hill, which is different than The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
The House on Haunted Hill, and Ghost Ship.
Oh man, Ghost Ship was hilarious.
I
Man,
know.
I loved
dude,
Ghost Ship. Like
all
not because
thr-
it was
all
like a
th-
good movie or scary,
but
but it was
because it's so
hilarious.
It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
it was one of those ones that were just so funny.
All three of those films, they have the exact same vibe because they were produced by the same. I think two of them, if not three of them, were directed by the same guy.
Yeah.
And they were all produced by the same people, and they just have the same vibe. So that's my '90s terrible ghost trilogy that like I absolutely adore and I love watching because they're so bad that they're good.
Good call.
Like they're enjoyable to watch, and they're super silly and super campy, and it's like a mix of like it's that 90s late 90s early 2000s trying to be edgy scary, so it's like
Yeah,
those flash cuts where like the ghost jump like 5 different frames, you can't see what's going on, but you're like,
yeah.
I think I'm supposed to be scared because there's flashing lights, but like
I don't
I'm
know.
not, but like I'm scared at the terrible CG because
That's what it was.
like no, I love those ones, they are phenomenal,
Ghost
man.
Ship.
Like
Ghost Ship always gave me a reason to be happy that I'm not like the tallest person. I'm always like, when that wire comes across, cuts all y'all in half, I'll probably be okay. I'll just like, I'm short. So I'll be good.
dude, you'd be decapitated.
I'm just imagining the wires just slightly taller than me. That's all I'm saying.
Are you imagining all these people are 10 feet tall?
No, but they would all die and I'd be fine. Like that's all I'm imagining,
But
man. Like
Matt,
listen, dude, I'm like 5 something. Like I ain't that tall. Most people are taller than I
are you taller than me?
am. We might be roughly the same height. If anything, you're
Because I'm
probably
like,
slightly taller than I am.
because I'm like 5'8".
Yeah, no, I am like 5'6" or something. Like
Huh, Matt's a
right,
wee tiny man.
right. Yeah, I'm like a wee little black leprechaun. I'll stab
But
you for the gold. Give me all your gold. Instead of like me
that
having the pot of gold, I jack pots of gold. Like, give me your wee pot of gold.
that's a movie premise, Matt. You should make it, or you
You
should
should
watch.
make it. You should make it. Just
I
hire
think
me.
we both need to watch Leprechaun in the Hood first to see if that's actually not part of it.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Like
Apparently,
that's probably a thing. But like what I'm saying is like everyone else dead, I'm not. I'm like being short
Matt,
rocks.
again, I have to remind you, you would have to be with a bunch of people who are about 11 feet tall.
Oh man. In that movie, yes. If you're specifically talking about the movie where they all get like cut in half, I'm not talking about getting cut in half. I'm just talking about people's like, at least losing their head at bare minimum. And I'm like, I get a
Fine.
haircut at best. You know what I'm saying?
Well, fine. If you want to pull, if you wanna,
Yeah,
you want
listen,
to just
man,
pull
just
punches here,
just
and you
let me take what I can get.
you just want
Just
happy thoughts, Matt.
take
Are
what
you
I can
getting
get, man.
Matt? Are you getting too scared?
No,
Good.
not yet. But I did
Um,
feel a cold draft come in my room, so I had to like check,
yeah,
make sure no one
I
was
saw
there.
you waving, Matt. It's
I was
also
just
winter
like, ooh,
time.
there was a cold draft come over here.
That's called the weather, Matt.
Yeah, could be that
That's
too.
what happens this time of year.
Drafty old house.
Um, did you see 13 Ghosts or House on Haunted Hill at all, or no?
I believe I did, but it would have been back in the '90s, because like back in the '90s, and early 2000s, like me and like my buddies were on like a good horror movie kick.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like it was me and Steven. Me and my buddy Steven, like I think we were like just on a horror movie kick. Like we'd usually do like kind of weekly like sleepovers, hangouts or whatever.
yeah.
And like go to the Blockbuster, classic, get some chips, like these dill pickle chips in over here, some
That you're not
Pepsis
eating.
and that I'm not eating right now. Some Pepsis and like just bunch like 3 4 different horror movies. So like I've seen a lot of like the 90s ones. That's why it's hard for me to remember anything specific, because most of those films were pretty bad. Like the majority
Yeah,
of horror movies in the 90s and early 2000s were pretty bad. Like and even leading up until like the mid 2000s, like the 2010s, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't until like The Conjuring and like Bloomhouse films type thing that like horror started getting like kind of good again and like better production quality, and they got smarter about it. Like Paranormal Activity was pretty good, but like most films in and around that time and like just before, as far as like ghost movies, I just felt were not very good anymore. Like a lot of them really
well,
lost their touch.
they shot them like a regular movie. There was no atmosphere,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Like
if it was like
became
jump scares, right?
it became more of like an action thing. There's metal soundtracks in them. Like they're trying to be edgy, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was a really weird time for movies. Because when it wasn't just, it was like every movie was that same feel, especially like late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Um, House on Haunted Hill is actually one that I remember with Ben, and I need to ask him about it because I don't remember.
Mm.
I don't know why I associate it with him. I know we watched it, but I like maybe he's the one who showed it to me. I don't know, but I need to ask him this because it's a weird thing where I look at that movie, I'm like, hey, Ben, and I have no clue why, for the life of me, why I associate House on Haunted Hill.
With
Yes,
Ben.
yeah,
I don't know.
and then 13 Ghosts is just one that like I've watched for years, and like
Yeah.
the main reason I watched it was because Matthew Lillard's in it.
Mm,
We got good old Shaggy,
Shaggy.
playing a psychic who does ghost hunting and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
man, it's so cheesy, and I just love it. Like it's so good. Um, on the opposite end of the spectrum, one of the more recent good ghost movies that I like, and it's not really a spooky, scary one, but it's just like it's a good gothic horror one. Is Crimson Peak.
Right.
Did you go see
Oh
Crimson Peak at
no!
all? Or?
Was it the movie or are you talking about the TV show?
There's a TV show.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a TV show called Crimson Peak. Never seen it. I'm pretty sure I've read about
There's
things.
Twin Peaks.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Never mind.
Yeah, Crimson Peak was
I'm like, never mind.
Crimson Peak was a Guillermo del Toro film. I probably butchered his name because it's late. And it was a ghost film with Tom Hiddleston and Jessica Chastain.
I don't think I saw that.
It's a good one. It's a good ghost film. It's not really super like over the top scary. Like it's just kind of a good ghost haunting story. It's fun. It's a good one. You should watch it. You should give it a shot. I just rewatched that one too, and like man, like there needs to be more gothic horror movies. There's not enough. It's all too much being like modern things. And my cell phone stopped working. Am I gonna die? Yes, you're gonna die. Your cell phone stopped working.
Yeah.
Stop asking.
Yeah.
Like, do more period pieces. I want more period pieces.
Well, at the end of the day, right? Like, and I think we are getting into another like phase minus like maybe some like the Netflix stuff. I mean, or maybe these movies have always just been around, but like there is just so many bad like ghost stories, especially like you said with modern technology. That's just like,
well, it's
brutal, man.
As much as Blumhouse has made some really good stuff, the problem is everything is the exact same now.
Yeah.
Every ghost story that comes out is the same ghost story. Like, I mean, like, they tried to subvert expectations with, like, The Boy, and then The Forest, I don't know what exactly happened with that, but, like, they released those two movies and they just flopped.
Yeah.
I think that was Blumhouse, too. But they all feel the same. They all have the exact same vibe, and I think that's the big problem, too, is there's not really... When Hollywood gets their hands on big-budget ghost stuff, it just ends up feeling the exact same.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing with Paranormal Activity. By the time you got to the third one, you're like, okay, I'm kind of done.
Been here, done that. Yeah.
Right? Not a ghost one. I think the first one might be, but I haven't seen it yet. Unfriended. I watched that recently. Or Unfriended Dark Web, the sequel. Mm-hmm. I watched that one. That was pretty good. It's not a ghost movie in the slightest. It's definitely more of, like, real people doing real things. But that movie... So the first movie was a budget of $1 million.
Yeah.
And it made $64 million. The second movie was a budget of $1 million, and it made $16 million. So thankfully that franchise, even though it was just starting to get interesting, we're not going to have it milked to death because going from 64 million, even though 16 million on a $1 million budget is still great, it's not 64 million, so it's not enough to justify.
It's a huge fall. A huge fall. Huge fall. And like,
whereas,
if you're gonna say anything about Hollywood, they love making money. So if you're making money, you could probably expect a sequel. But if you got drops like that, nah, man.
But that's the problem though. Is most of these movies where it's all the same now are the ones that keep making money, and I'm getting fatigue from it. Like personally, watching anything with Blumhouse, I just kind of like. I don't think they're bad movies, but they just the problem is they feel the same, right? And it's just kind of it's draining me at this point. Like I'm just like, I don't need to go and watch this one because I've already seen it 20 times.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like, but like, there's so many things to talk about, right? And you can probably remember a bit more specifics than I can. Like, for me, when it comes to these types of films, it's like the really good ones that have the right creep factor that make me so uncomfortable or actually like scare me or have that moment that like sticks with you. Those are
Yeah.
so far and few in between. So far and few in between. I would say like the older stuff that they did back in like the 60s and 70s is way scarier than most of the stuff they do today. Like, and I think what they like, I think there's a charm that's there without like they didn't have the same technology as we have today, right? So they had to make things
Yep.
like work and like figure it, like there was an extra layer of creativity there. And I think those things legitimately add to the creep factor of it, like what they were able to create with the tech they had. Now we rely a lot more on our own technology, right? I think that's also a factor
Well, and
that
like, and
cheapens
that's
it, especially when we were talking about those '90s ones, like the really bad CGI that they started putting in those types of films. Again, like that was one of my complaints
mm-hmm.
last week. It's like I don't want to see the ghost, like I don't need a visualization of it. And I think that's actually where that came from was a lot of those '90 films where you actually saw the ghost, but the ghost looked terrible. So it's like you're not scared anymore because it's fake beyond fake. Whereas like real spiritual encounters would be very much like the ones you don't see. For the most part. Like you are there are apparitions and things that you do see. But I don't it wouldn't be like the way it's portrayed in like The Haunting per se, right? Like there was like wasn't there like some big ghost in the garden or something? Then some chick was a ghost out of a picture. It was very strange.
Well, and like, and that's like that stuff. Similar stuff happened in the novel. It's still decently close to the novel, but like it still was handled a lot worse than what was in the novel,
But
and
how
that's the
yeah, but
problem.
like it was like a lot of the old bad CGI tech behind it too that didn't do it justice, right?
Well,
Like
it's
they
the
would have
problem.
been
So the
better off
problem
to
with
like figuring out a practical way to make it happen.
this is a whole side tangent that has nothing to do with ghost films, but it's a good example of it.
Yeah.
The problem with CGI is it suddenly gave the opportunity to show everything. Whereas in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they could figure out some effects, but there were some things they just couldn't show or pull off.
Yeah.
So they went for more subtle things of like, oh, well, what can we imply? What can we show with an invisible force? What can we do that way to scare people?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I just want to put a ghost in. I can just CG this thing. Aha, yeah, ghost. Woo.
Yeah, 100%
And
agree.
like,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. It's a lot of show, not it's too much show and not enough imply.
Yeah.
And that's especially in the 90s because CG became a big thing. They were like, "Hey, look at everything now. We can show this in broad daylight. It's going to be great." And back in the day, it looked great because we never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
The problem was then we, grew and the CG didn't. And that's actually why out of most of those 13 Ghosts I think still holds up quite a bit because there's a decent amount of practical. Like all the
Hmm.
ghosts in there are practical makeup effects.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the designs. You just can't see them because the editing. But I think that's where a lot of that kind of that's where the problem is. And now like to me, one of the big tropes they really 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 lay on thick in the modern ghost movies is they really like shadows and out of focus
Hmm.
or making things so dark that you can't see.
Yeah.
So
That's another big one. Yeah.
I've gone on enough about like my favorite ghost movies. What the heck are yours, Matt? Talk about the stuff you like as opposed to being worried about cold spots.
Oh man, it's all these cold spots. They're coming for me. Oh, my arms are cold. Just grab a sweater, brother. Right. Right. Yeah, no, like I guess probably my favorite ones like just take me back to like the ones that actually scared me. Like those are always my favorite ones. They're hardest ones to watch. like into rewatch, because there's something that, again, like we said, there's those moments that like they imprint on your brain, so it's hard to rewatch some of those moments. But those are still the
Yeah.
best ones because they have the right effect, right? They draw you in, they create the tension well, and the things that scare you aren't necessarily the like images or the materialization of the demonic or spiritual force. uh it's just like sometimes it's those subtle little things that are just slightly off, like something's really effed up here that's not quite right. I go back to Amityville Horror, man. Like that was such a creepy movie. It had atmosphere, tension. It was great. And of course, like when you're talking about like the 60s and stuff like that, like you got like that old, like it's definitely like an older film. Uh but like yeah, the practicality that they had to use. And there were some things I didn't quite understand what was happening sometimes. Um because I didn't obviously
Yeah.
read the book at like 6, 7 years old. Like obviously it was not like,
Right.
yeah, I'm not just gonna read this Amityville book and figure out what happened. Um, but like when they had like the pig, I think it was like a pig, right, with like the red eyes or whatever, or something that was like flying outside like the second story window or something.
Like the
Like
two eyes that went back and forth. Like,
yeah, yeah, like outside the
yeah,
window, but it's a pig, right?
it's supposed to be a pig, but the funny and cool thing about it is the pig's actually the house. Like when you look at the house where you look where the eyes are and stuff like
Yeah.
that demon is the house.
Okay, I don't know. I missed that
Cause
part.
like, cause like,
I can't. I
no, cause
don't
like,
fully remember that.
do you know what the house looks like?
Yeah, I remember what the house looks like. Yeah.
So like, basically, it's the two windows are supposed to be the eyes, and
Yeah.
like the chimney that goes up is supposed to be like its snout.
Oh. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get
like
it
it's
from the
super.
outside. Like I get it from the outside.
But then
Like
like that was one of the scary moments for the people who were for the Lutzes who were living there, is that they looked out the window, or the mom looked out the window, because like her daughter was like, yeah, my friend just went out the window, and she
yeah.
looked out and there was just like this thing out at the second story window, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, I'd be crapping my pants
See, and
too.
that's where I would be like, "Homies, we leaving right now." Like I just like what's y'all
You
stubborn
have to
ass
remember
white people, man? Like
they paid for that house.
oh yeah, dude, I would go bankrupt. I would not care. Like, dude, there's not enough money in the world that would keep me there. Not a chance. I'd be like, see ya. Especially shit like that happen. Like, not a chance. Not a chance. But yeah, like I just remember that kind of moment in the film, and I believe in the actual book. Um, I don't recall properly, but wasn't there also like a pig's corpse that was kind of like floating around the house too, from like time to time? Like it was something like
I don't know.
really
I need.
really weird. Like because I remember reading it somewhere, and I can't like don't quote me on this. It's not in the film, but like I think that was one of the
I haven't read
moments
the
that it was
book.
implying to it too.
I've
No, I
debated.
didn't. I
I've debated
didn't.
picking up the audiobook.
I didn't read, dude. I don't know if I'd survive that. I'm like, I don't know if I'd survive that. Maybe I should. That'd be a fun time. Just not at night.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till after Halloween, because like
Good call.
that seems like the type of book that like will bring up the wrong things around Halloween.
Yeah, maybe. No, but like I remember because it was actually what I was reading was a book of like true horror stories, and in it they had like the Amityville. Like it was more or less like it was only like 5 pages or something, so it wasn't like a
Yeah.
full book, but it was like summing up their experience. And at one point, I'm pretty sure it said there was like a floating pig's corpse that would float from room like to room. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. It's like homie, like why are we still here? Like
Because we paid good money for
we
this
can
house.
like floating pig corpse or not, you go to bed. Like what?
I'll buy you a new one.
like what? But no, like that's got to go back to like one of my favorites because it was so creepy. It had such great atmosphere. Again, from the starting, you just had like the little kids humming. It was like, oh my god, what is this creepy ass shit? Um, so yeah, no, that goes back to being one of my favorites. Um, Obviously, like I said, like jumping many years ahead, Paranormal Activity, one of my favorite. The second one was pretty good. Third one, not as great, but still all right. Um, I have a hard time remembering specifically in the middle there because I watched like just so many, and so many were
Anything
so
and
bad,
everything.
man. So yeah, like pretty much. There's another one that was a mockumentary. I can't remember what it's called, so forgive me. Um, and it was these kids again. They were like doing. Were they trying to do a seance or something, or were they just recording creepy things? Or I think maybe they're going to an abandoned house and like recording it. But it was like this old house down in the southern United States, and it was like actually like a slave house. Like it used to be like a slave house, and they're doing this paranormal investigation, and like the ghost would like pick them off one by one. But of course it was another one of those ones you didn't actually see the ghost, right? Like things would just like happen to them, or like a chair would like fly across the attic and doors would slam. I mean, like that type of thing too. um
Yeah.
but at the end, they like found this passage into the wall that like went to the basement, and there was just like chains and shit like hanging, like where they would like hang their slaves and stuff and like chain them up. It was like it was a really interesting, like super low budget, like lower budget than Paranormal Activity, and this was considerably before Paranormal Activity. Um, but super
Hmm.
low budget, very tense, very creepy. And it was kind of like the idea that there was this spirit in the house that was a slave and was just angry, right? And was like taking it out on like these kids. And then in the end, like the last shot that you have is like the guy who's like crawled into where like this kind of slave hideout is in between the wall, like drops his camera and gets like pulled into the dark, right? Like obviously like the classic like last last shot, right?
Blair Witch kind
Then
of
the
thing.
movie's over, right? You're like, oh yeah, classic. And it probably wasn't even too long after Blair Witch, because like I would be fairly certain to say I was still in elementary school, maybe like or like maybe grade 9 if high school, but so this is going back. But no, that was such a like it was a really cool movie. Watched it a couple times, and it had a lot of great creep moments and fear factors in it. And again, no visualization of the ghost, just shit happened to these kids, and which is pretty cool. Another one that I do recall, I think was like, is it "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark" or "Be Afraid of the Dark" or "Don't Step in the Light"? I
Don't.
don't
Is it a
remember.
newer one?
No, this is again going back to like there was so many I watched in like the early 2000s. Like Ethan, like literally we go to the movie store and we like, oh yeah, what's the newest ghost horror movie out like this week or something? And so we
Yeah.
watched like tons, just stupid amounts that I can't even like I can't remember them all. Um, I feel like it was like "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark" or something like that. But like the movie was the opposite. Like this ghost or this like spirit would attack you if you were in the dark. Like if you stood in the light, you were fine. But as soon as you like walked into a shadow or something like that, or were like in the darkness too long, it like kill you or scoop you up or whatever. So that one was pretty good. Um, Pretty cheesy, but pretty good. Sixth Sense. That was
Oh yeah, I guess
another
that's a
one for
ghost
me.
movie.
It is a ghost movie, and like it's obviously like a dramatic movie too, and it was quite a good film. Um, Sixth Sense was is one of my favorite ones. Not necessarily because it's like overly scary, but it just had like a really good story, and obviously you have the big twist at the end. I would love to tell you the twist, but if you haven't seen it, I don't really want to ruin it for you. And nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if people haven't seen this film because it's old enough now that you're getting into the realms of like lots of younger people
Yeah.
probably haven't seen this movie. So if you haven't seen
Complete.
Sixth Sense, go watch it. Like it's a really enjoyable film. Dude, I run into people who haven't seen the original Jurassic Park. I'm like, are you
Oh yeah.
freaking kidding me? They're like, oh yeah, that old movie? Like,
Yes, Matt. You are old.
that
I
old
hate to break it
movie?
to you.
What the hell? Like, you
Um.
kids talking about?
Did you? This is completely off the rails, and probably you haven't seen it. Maybe you have. Have you ever seen Darkness Falls?
I think that's what I'm talking about.
Darkness Falls?
Yes, isn't that one where if you're in the dark, you get like scooped up and you have to stand in the light?
Darkness Falls is about the Tooth Fairy. It's like a
Mm.
demonic tooth fairy that like goes around killing people, and it's
But
like
is it
super
if they're
messed up,
in the
man.
shadows?
I don't think so. That doesn't ring a bell, but maybe like the name would seem to.
Because I'm pretty sure it's Darkness Falls. Okay, maybe that wasn't a ghost movie. That's how long ago I'm talking about here. Like I
Well,
don't
it's
remember
2000.
shit,
It was
man.
2003, so possibly.
Yeah, like I would have been 12. What was I watch? When is
And
my mom letting me watch this?
was that the cover?
Well, I can't remember if that was the cover, but I'm pretty sure that's the same movie. I'm pretty sure, like, so maybe it's not a demon or spirit. I couldn't remember what it was. But I think the
Either
rule
way,
was if you're in the dark, you're effed, so you have to stay in the light.
um, it would be a ghost
Okay.
because she was nicknamed the Tooth Fairy.
Okay,
They
yeah.
exposed her face to light and hanged her before her death. Placed a curse in the town for revenge. Surely I'm going to lose the last tooth. If anyone lays eyes upon her, they will be forever marked for her vengeance.
Sounds like a really shitty day. Just like, damn it, I looked at her. No, now I'm screwed.
Now I want to rewatch this one because this actually reading this, it sounds pretty interesting. It doesn't say anything about being in the light,
I'm pretty sure that was the
but
thing, though. I'm pretty sure that no, that's the movie. That's definitely the film. That's definitely it. Darkness
that'd
Falls.
be
Yeah.
it's honestly it's kind of hilarious because it's like it's not scary, but it's also it's again it's technically about a demonic tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Like it's a lady who was thought to be a witch who then turns into a ghost who then is a tooth fairy, and it just makes no sense, but is
But it was
great.
great fun. Like, yeah. So
Yeah,
yes, so that's the one I was thinking about. That one comes to mind too. And it's not like Sixth Sense and that are two totally different films, but like they're just a lot of fun. Lots of fun. I'm trying to think of like something else here too. It's hard to remember. Like the Conjuring films, I think are pretty good. Like I don't really care for the spin-offs that much, but uh, Conjuring one
one
and two. One is better than two, but
one that's been on my list for years and I've never watched it is The Possession, and I think it's like based off Jewish mythology as opposed
oh,
to
okay.
regular ones, and like Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it, and I really want to see it,
I don't think
and I've
I've
just
seen
never
that.
watched it. Apparently, it's really
I
good.
watched The Possession of
It's
like
like
Emily Rose. That was a
The
film.
Exorcism of Emily
Oh
Rose.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yeah.
Well, there's like what was that? There wasn't there one where it's like it was a found footage one, and like but it's like a girl in a barn or something like that, and like
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. At a certain point, I just kind of stopped watching possession films because they were the
Well,
problem with
they
a
are
lot of
the same.
possession
Like a
films.
lot of them are very much the same.
Well, a lot of them were trying to be The
Yeah.
Exorcist, but the other thing too was they were all trying to be found footage, being like, guys, this is real.
Yeah.
Look, it's real because it's found footage. Therefore, it's gotta be real, guys. It's found
Like
footage.
let's
It's like,
add this extra level of immersion.
but like at the end of the day, man, like if there was any like found footage films with like actual evidence of stuff, they would last about 10 seconds before people either died or like ran away.
Yeah.
No one's filming a 2 hour long found footage film about
Demons
like
and
and that's why
shit. Like no, like let's be honest here.
at some point you turn off the camera.
Like well, I'm like I would get the hell out of here. I feel like the majority of people in those situations would be like, "No, we're out of here." Like maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Like maybe they're in a situation where they just feel like they can't, but I feel like the majority of people would. I'd hope the majority of people would be like, "Oh yeah, not a chance." You look out the window, there's some demonic thing flying 2 stories like outside your window. See you later, son. Like that's it. Like we're gone. I don't know if anyone
Yep.
else would do
Oh
that.
yeah.
I feel like
It's
people
actually
would.
funny because like my bedroom windows because of the heat in my house.
Yeah.
Um, my bedroom windows have literally just had blankets over them for like the last 2 years.
Oh really?
Like I don't have. Yeah, I can't see outside my windows. I just have them covered in blankets, and that's to keep heat in, and like during the winters, and I just don't take it down during the summers because it stops the light from coming in.
Yeah.
So it's just like I literally can't see out my windows ever, which is amazing, and as someone who is terrified of looking out his windows at nighttime and seeing, and I'm on the ground floor,
Yeah.
right? So like people could be peering in on me, but they can't because I got blankets. I'm smart.
That's a good way to do it, man.
Just it again. It gives me peace of mind.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
makes you
can't see
feel a
any
little bit better.
floating. I can't see any floating pigs outside my window.
Yep. No, that's for sure,
And like,
man.
I've noticed you keep glancing over to your window, Matt. Is that because you are thinking you're seeing things?
No, I actually have. I also have blankets on my window, but that was mainly for recording purposes, so I can control the amount of light that's coming in when I'm recording my videos.
Mine's mainly for heating purposes, and it
Not
kind of
not
works.
ghost purposes. I hear your story, man. I get it. I was really scared of windows for a long time. Oh yeah, no. I mean, I don't really got too much else to say about ghost films. Like, they can, like, there's such a wide span. Like, you can't just say, oh yeah, just go watch any ghost movie, it'll be fine. Like, because some are corny, some are very funny, some are entertaining because they're so bad. Others are like, will scare the shit out of you, like,
Do you
legitimately.
agree? Do you
So it's
agree the
hard to
best ones
decide.
are the best ones to me? I think are the slow burns.
Yep.
Right? It's not the ones that throw it all at you at once, or
No.
like ghost stuff happens right away.
Nah, or the
Like
ones
it's
that jump
it's
scares, man. Like, those ones, garbage. It's the ones that do the slow burn that creep you out with like everyday shit. Like, that's just, again, it's that feeling that something just isn't right. That feeling that maybe you're being watched, or like someone's acting a little strange, or they're just slightly off. Those are the ones that are the best. Like, those are the ones that are gonna have the best effect because they try to be somewhat grounded in like realism and what would actually happen. And like, that's where you can picture yourself in those situations, right? Like, the ones where things are just going off the wall, like batshit crazy, like the whole time, it's unrealistic. Like, you're not gonna see that kind of stuff, or like, it's hard to put yourself there. I mean, maybe for some people you put yourself there pretty easy, but it's no, it's those slow burns like The Exorcist. It's slow burns like Paranormal Activity. Like, those are the ones that are very, very effective
yeah.
when it comes to actually
No, and I
like
agree.
creating those images and those feelings. It's because it's that natural build of tension, right? Until you finally get to the end where that tension has to either like be destroyed, like exposed, or like you just lose your mind. That's kind of like how it goes. So yeah, no, there's
Well,
great. Me and Chris watched another one that was weird too. I want to say not too long ago, but it's probably still quite a while ago. Um, but I can't remember the name or the plot. It was some weird high school one, but me and him bust a gut like the whole time. It was so silly. Like, it was the most
yeah.
ridiculous thing ever. And I wish I really could remember the name, but I can't. So that was a useful addition. I mean,
It wouldn't
useless
be the
addition.
faculty, would it?
No, it wasn't that. It was some
Because like
like,
I was gonna say, that's not a ghost movie. That's a sci-fi like
no, no.
alien
It
invasion
was
movie.
some like literally like sea level garbage that was on like Max. Like, when you had like the Max TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
had like there's like those free movies that like were on those lists, and like it was something in
yeah.
there, and it was just garbage. Like, it was just it was so bad. But we had a good time. We laughed. But I wish I could remember and tell you, but I can't. So, useless addition on my part.
Maybe it's maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, probably. Probably. So, what horror films or what ghost films scare you guys the most, or which ones do you think you're most effective? What are your favorites? Let us know. Ooh, cold draft.
Well, Matt, let's finish on a bit of a warmer note,
Ah, yes.
and let's talk about like what are your like because obviously horror movies and Halloween aren't just for adults,
No.
right? There's a large portion of Halloween dedicated to kids, and a lot of that is kid-friendly Halloween movies or horror movies. And did you have any growing up? Did you have any go-tos that you watched that were, your kid-friendly classics?
Casper in the 90s. obviously Casper the Friendly Ghost. Like you can't.
Rewatched that one recently, and it is not a great
I have
movie,
not
but it
rewatched it
is.
recently, but that was a classic back in the day, back in the '90s.
Yep.
Obviously, like that was huge. But other than that, I watch ghost movies like Amityville Horror. So like I can't really be like like not one I would recommend for kids. Um,
Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
yeah. So yeah, it wasn't really huge into Peanuts.
What? Man,
No.
you are disappointing me at every
Oh
turn.
wow, every turn that
Every turn,
seems
man.
dramatic. Oh man, can't remember
Alvin
ghost
and the Chip.
movies. Not a Oh yeah, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah,
Alvin and the Chipmunks meets Frankenstein and Wolfman.
I loved
Like
Alvin
those
and the
ones are
Chipmunks.
classics.
Yeah,
Honest, I still do, man. To this day. Um, what about? Well, I guess. What about the Haunted Mansion, Matt? Did you watch the Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy?
I don't think so.
Oh my goodness! Really?
I have no recollection of that at all. So I would guess probably not.
So then you probably never saw Tower of Terror then.
Nope.
Did I? Am I the only one who watched Halloween kids movies? Is that just a me thing? Is this a one-sided conversation?
Maybe I don't know. Like I did not watch a lot of like kids how like I liked to just watch normal horror movies, which was like terrible decision for a child. But those are the ones I like to watch. So there wasn't really too many like kids Halloween movies. There was one that I remember. I guess it wasn't Halloween. I think it was Thanksgiving. I think I told you about it like a couple episodes ago. It was like some mutant turkey that was like murdering people. It was like really effed up. Or it was like a zombie turkey.
How's that a kids movie?
Dude, it was on like a kid's channel. It was like on YTV or something. Like it was literally supposed to be like kind of kids creepy, like Goosebumps, but it was like pretty effed up. I was like, it was like one of those things where it's like it was made for kids, where you're like, nah, man, like
Shouldn't have
this
been
should
made
have
for
been made
kids.
for kids. Yeah, it was one of those types of things. I think that was actually like
Did
some weird
you
Thanksgiving thing though. I don't even know if it was Halloween.
did you ever watch Goosebumps, or if you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
or are you afraid of the
Goosebumps.
dark?
No, Goosebumps was a big one that we watched a lot. Obviously,
See,
Slappy the doll was like one of the creepiest additions. Goosebumps.
see, I wasn't allowed to watch Goosebumps or anything like that, so it's something I actually found more as an adult.
Oh yeah,
I got to go back and explore, and like I haven't seen the Slappy episode yet. That's one I should
I think
watch
he's in a
because
couple. I
I
think
have
he's
them
in a
all.
couple episodes, if I remember
But
correctly. But
I watched the Haunted Mask because that's when people told me was like one of the best
mhm.
ones, and like that was solid. Like I like and appreciate Goosebumps because the thing with me for good Halloween films or good kid friendly ones is that kids don't get hurt in them or don't die
Yeah,
in them, right? Like I feel like that's good for kids because again it gives them that good scare, but then at the end shows them as like, oh, but I'm gonna come out of this okay.
yeah,
Like
I can overcome this.
especially yeah, 100%. Like I think that's what's really important. Like and like for me, a lot of my experience watching like Halloween friendly movies was like Halloween friendly kid friendly movies was doing it when my parents weren't around
Yeah,
because they weren't very pro Halloween. So it's like be watching Family Channel at like late at night and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch whatever the movie this is," and I never caught half of the names of the
yeah.
movies. I have to have other ones that are like I'm blanking. I'm really upset because I brought up this topic thinking we'd have more to talk about, but
Yeah,
like
like I was like family Halloween movies. Okay, I mean, I'm guessing he must have a ton. Like I'm like I don't remember really watching too many. I got like
I
a
thought I
recent
did.
addition that's not a scary movie, but it is Halloween, and that's
Yep,
Adam Sandler's Hubie's Halloween on
I
Netflix.
haven't seen it.
Oh my god, it's pretty damn funny. Like it's actually a really good Halloween movie. Obviously nothing scary. Like Halloween's just kind of the setting, but like
Yeah.
it's like his whole character is all about Halloween though. Like he's like I protect everyone during Halloween. Like it's like the classic Adam Sandler like man child type, character where he talks like funny and he's really stupid, but like just like a really sweet genuine guy. So that's kind of like the main character of Hubie. and everyone in the town's like just a huge jerk to him, like, and they're just like mean to him. I but like it's pretty much got like his whole like Adam Sandler crew, right? Like, you got Steve Buscemi, you got Kevin
Yeah.
James, you got Rob Schneider, you have you know, like all the classics and stuff are there. But yeah, no David Spade. David Spade isn't in this one, but no, it was
I heard
hilarious.
it's one of his best ones in years.
Yeah. It was really like it was really funny. It was a very enjoyable movie and the end was like good and yeah, no, it was just like for family Halloween, like if you want to get into like the Halloween spirit and you're looking for like a family movie that's not like scary or anything like that, like gonna freak out the kids, it's a good call. Like it's something definitely worth doing. And it's on Netflix and it's just yeah, it's quite funny. The best part, like, and it is a little bit of a spoiler, but it takes part like right immediately into the film. Do you remember Happy
Yeah.
Gilmore?
Yeah.
So remember like the caretaker that was looking after his grandma, like who was played by Ben Stiller, who's
Yeah.
like, "You're in my house now," or whatever. His name was like Hal L or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so the movie starts at an asylum or whatever, and like it's the same orderly in the asylum played by Ben Stiller, and it's the same character, and he's only in there for like a minute, maybe. You know what I mean? But it was like you see him in that scene and you're just busting a gut because he's still got the same old like handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
He's talking the same. Oh, you're in my town now or whatever the hell. He ain't like this is mine now. I'm your new orderly. And then like obviously the movie takes off kind of from there. But no, like
I'll have to check it
it's a
out.
really entertaining movie. Um, Tim Meadows, obviously Maya Rudolph. A lot of the SNL people, some of the newer ones are in there as well from
Okay.
like the newest couple seasons. There's this one chick on there. Um, she's like a crazy cat lady in this movie, but she's also on SNL, and I can't remember her name. Something Venus. I don't know. I'd have to look it. I'd have to
I don't
look
know.
it up. But she's one of the people newer cast on SNL, and she's like, she tries to be really funny, but it's like it's just like it doesn't
It's
land.
not
You
the
know what I
same.
mean? Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't like her jokes don't land like at all. Like it's just painful to watch. And she is the only character in this film and she's only in it for a couple seconds, but the second she's in there like it's just not landing.
Not
That's my
great.
only criticism of this film. The rest of it was actually pretty great, pretty funny. Shaq's in there. Like it was just like a good time. Like these guys, they just get together and they make movies together. Like they're just a bunch of buds who get to make movies together, which is pretty great. But if you're looking for a really just yeah fun Halloween time, couple laughs, not a lot of scares, just it's a gooder. Check it out. Hubie's Halloween.
Matt, I am ashamed of both of us.
Oh my god,
I
what do
am
we do?
so disappointed because we have left out one of the biggest franchises to do with Halloween, to do with scary things. Do you know what franchise I'm talking about?
Nope, that's probably why you're disappointed in us.
I'm so disappointed. It's been around since the 60s. It hasn't changed too much. It recently had a pretty terrible movie, but that's beside the point.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now.
How have we not talked about Scooby
Yeah, that's what I
Doo?
figured you were talking about.
Because like that's classic kid friendly Halloween fun.
That's true.
And
Yep.
like yeah, you can watch their stuff at any point at any time, but all I remember is turning on like anything from Teletoon to YTV to Family, anything, and there would just be a slew of Scooby Doo specials on. Like they'd have marathons of the old episodes, of the new episodes, what new Scooby Doo, the Reluctant Werewolf, Cyber Chase, Zombie Island.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Zombie Island. Yeah,
did you watch a lot of Scooby Doo growing up, or not so much?
quite a bit. Like the TV series for sure. Like the animated like movies and stuff like that. were
Yep.
pretty good. No, I like Scooby Doo. Like me and my uncle, we used to watch a lot of like Hanna Barbera stuff. Like we
Yep.
watched a lot of like Yogi Bear and
Flintstones,
Flintstones,
Jetsons.
and not so much Jetsons, but Flintstones, Yogi Bear, Scooby Doo. Those were like the three big ones that we used to watch like a lot growing up. And when I say growing up, I still mean when I was probably quite a bit younger and stuff too. But no, like those were just Hanna Barbera, man. They made like great cartoons. They were so funny, and like it kind of sucks like seeing Scooby Doo nowadays and kind of like what it is, and it's like
Well,
I
it's
don't
just
know. Like the
honestly,
formula's there, like the characters are there. Like I don't know why you have to like. I don't know why we can't like hit on it again, but it doesn't really work
well, that's why
nowadays
like
as well as it did back then.
the newest movie was rough. Like I did not care for what they did with that because it just kind of like number one, you disrespected all the actors who have been dedicating their lives to
Yeah,
Scooby Doo for like however long. And number two, the story just didn't make sense. It didn't feel like it wasn't a Scooby Doo story. It was just like something else. But I need to watch Mystery Incorporated because apparently that was the one that came out a couple years ago. Like a couple years
hmm
ago, being like maybe like 5 to 10 years ago.
yeah,
That one was apparently pretty good and had more of like an overarching story. And then, as much as I dislike the animation style, I feel like I need to give Be Cool Scooby Doo a shot because apparently it's less of a scary thing and more of a comedy, similar to like what Teen Titans Go was to Teen Titans.
gotcha.
It's like I feel like I should still give it a fair shake. I'm just like the thing is I've seen so many different interpretations of Scooby Doo, and I never get tired of it. And I don't know what it is. And maybe it's just that nostalgia. Maybe it is just that. But like even
Could be,
watching
yeah.
we watched the Supernatural Scooby Doo crossover.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. Like, I really got to
Dude,
catch up on my Supernatural because I actually really
you
enjoy that show too. It was a really good show.
for that for that episode, you can just skip to it and watch it and enjoy it. You don't need to have any previous knowledge of what's going
Yeah,
on. It's a very
it's one of those
self-contained
one-off
episode.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah, like so if you're
good
debating watching
filler.
it and you don't feel like going through the entire series again, 100% man. 100% you should just
Well, I just
like
got to catch
tomorrow.
up on like Supernatural in general. Like, I stopped watching at one point and I just haven't picked it up. And it's not that it's not a good show. It's just like when you run out of time and there's only so many shows and so many movies and
Yep.
like so much time to watch all
Well,
of
and
it. Supernatural fell by the
it's a
wayside, but
full
it's such a great series.
it's a full show too.
Yeah.
Like it's got a lot, but like because I think me and Prosser fell off around season 11 or 12,
Oh yeah, we
and
did
so we
not
still
get
got a
that
few
far
seasons to
yet.
finish up. We did. Like it's weird because season 6, 7, and 8 kind of get a little rough, and then halfway through 8, suddenly it's like amazing again, and it's just been nonstop. And
Yeah.
then like we got caught up to the latest season, and we just never continued with the next one.
I
We
think
just can't remember which season that was.
I think we fell off at like season 6 or something like that. I want to say
No, I mean
season 6, but it's hard to
a lot of
remember.
people did. Um, but no, like dude, like with Scooby Doo, like even some of the newer movies, like the wrestling one was kind of weak, but like the Scooby Doo meets Kiss, if you haven't seen that
Yeah,
one,
I haven't seen that either.
dude, it's amazing. It is so out there, but it is phenomenal. But then they did a sequel to Zombie Island,
Yeah.
which was not good because they basically, you know, how Zombie Island ended up being like, oh, there was supernatural things this whole
Yeah.
time. The Return to Zombie Island was like, no, it was faked the whole
Why would
time,
you
and it's
do
like
that?
100%. Like, what the heck?
Cause yeah,
Like,
what
it just
in the
it
original like movie, like didn't they like try and pull off the zombie's face and it wasn't like
it wasn't a zombie
it
or it
didn't
wasn't
come
a
off.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was a
was a
zombie.
zombie. Yeah, and they're just like,
Yeah,
what?
that was the kind of cool thing with that era of Scooby Doo is suddenly it wasn't just there were actual monsters. The cyber chase
Yeah,
thing was like an actual like monster. Even like there's the witches one I want to say there were actual witches that happened there. Or were they vampires?
I
It was a rock.
I
There
think it
was a
was
rock
like
band. That's
witches. Yeah.
um. But then good old What's New Scooby Doo came out and returned everything to form, that was a great freaking show. And it had Simple Plan doing the opening. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, oh yeah, I guess we're missing one giant gap in this history. There's so much more. Like Scooby Doo could be like, I mean, there's been so many people who've done video essays and talked about it to death.
Yeah.
But like Scooby Doo is just something that you could talk about for hours, depending on the generation you grew up with or how much of it you actually watched. But we're definitely the live action movies. I actually recently bought. I need to rewatch them. I've seen the first one so many times, and honestly, I love them. I love the live action movies.
They were actually done quite well. They were actually
The
like
first one,
surprisingly well.
the first one specifically is solid, like through and through.
Yeah.
The second one I've only seen a couple times, so I need to watch again. But like, again, like there's a formula there, and it works, and it's kind of a bit more adult than the other ones, but it's still Scooby Doo at the core, and that's what was really missing in the newest one was just it wasn't Scooby Doo. But this time of year always just makes me think of Scooby
Makes you think of Scooby.
I'm so mad that it took me this long in the conversation
To like remember Scooby Doo
once. Dude,
like
I didn't even mention him in the previous episode.
Nope.
Like nothing until now. And I'm very angry at myself for that.
Woo-wee-woo!
So I guess that's a question I want to know from people is what's their favorite interpretation of Scooby-Doo? I want to know that. Also, what's your favorite family friendly or kid memory Halloween kind of spoopy shows?
Yeah.
Or movies? I want to know that too. But other than that, Matt, is it time for your question of the day?
Hey, boo-boo, you got a picnic basket. I love Yogi Bear.
No, I don't.
Hey,
Is that the
boo-boo.
question?
You got
Is that the question,
picnic
Matt? That's pretty
basket.
bad.
Yeah, it's not great. No, okay, so here's my question of the day. Because it's actually like Halloween today, I thought I'd do like an actual Halloween type question. So here's the question.
Oh, boo.
Favorite MacGyvered Halloween costume. So not one that you bought from the store, one that you just had to put together, whether it was like last minute or you planned it out, but you had to just put it together from stuff around your house. Your favorite MacGyvered Halloween costume.
I literally had to do one last year.
Yeah? Is that your favorite one? Like,
I completely... I have to think about them. Because, like, so the one that I did last year... I completely forgot to make a costume.
Yeah.
Where I was planning to do something and I just didn't
Yeah.
do it. So I just grabbed whatever I could and dressed up as a 80s director. So I had a big puffy vest on, I wore a Star Wars hat, plaid shirt, like a film pass, everything like that. See, a lot of times that's what I do for Halloween is I make my own costumes. I don't just go out and store buy.
Right.
And that's been for years, even like going back with my parents and stuff like that. My mom made me Robin back in the day, where we just went to the Dollarama, got like a Lone Ranger mask.
Yeah.
Not even the right type of mask, just a Lone Ranger mask. She sewed the cape from hand and then put me in one of her red shirts. And I think Dad had green sweatpants. And like, keep in mind, I'm like 5.
Yeah, so you were like
so I'm
good
like
to go.
A child.
Yeah.
I'm swimming in this. I'm wearing a jacket over top of it because it's Saskatchewan and Halloween. You're never what you are. You're always what you are.
Underneath your jacket. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so true.
So there's that. Like the only bought Halloween costume, like bought from scratch, bought from a pack, was Batman one year.
Mm-hmm.
My parents bought me a Batman costume once, and it wasn't even like a great one. It was just like a foam Batman chest with muscles and a silly cowl and cape. But like most of the time, like because I built a Rorschach costume from scratch in the first year of college, where actually during the day, I walked around as his alter ego, so I dyed my hair red and had a "the end is nigh" sign that I walked
Okay,
around
yeah,
campus with.
yeah.
And then at nighttime, for like 3 nights in a row, I put on the Rorschach costume to walk around.
Nice.
Um, Another one, I was a random like half demon hunter, like something that would be like straight out of an anime. It was a really weird
Yeah.
costume, where it's like a zombie demon hunter thing, but I dug it. It wasn't great because it was like pre-made like bite marks and stuff, so they were all falling
Oh,
off.
gotcha.
But it was still pretty fun. Um, I made a Red Robin costume once, so like a full spandex one, which like I
Sounds
look
appealing.
good. Look, I look good in spandex from the waist down because I have great legs.
Okay.
I do not have the torso for spandex right now, so it's like muffin top, legs. Like that's just I look like a dancing muffin. That's what I look.
Honestly, the scariest images I've gotten all night.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh man.
Um, no, like I
Now
always
I'm
try to
scared to
make
go into
something.
the
I always try to
hallway.
make
Like, oh no, Ethan, it's spandex. Fuck.
run away.
Did I just see Ethan in spandex out of the corner of my eye? Oh my god.
I always try to do. So, yeah, I try to make my costumes more than buy them.
Yeah.
Like I'll try and make masks just out of like if I can't come up with a costume, I'll make a random mask.
Right.
I mean like even the both times I did the Joker costume, I didn't buy the costumes. I just bought the
Hmm.
things and put the costumes together or built
Together.
it from scratch, right? Like
Yeah.
so for me, like it's never like it's the only last minute one I've had to do just pull out of nothing is the director one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, actually that's a lie. I did buy a Star Trek uniform once, which I've worn on occasion just because I'm bored. But
Mm.
it's comfy. Other than that, like even like our Jedi costumes when we did the Star Wars thing,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
just I had a Taekwondo uniform. I don't even remember what yours was, but
I
we
don't
just
even know what I wore. I can't.
I don't know
I'm
either.
like, I'm not even sure. Like, what did I
We threw together
wear?
some kind of costume.
I
But that's I
do
think
not remember at all.
I can't speak for you, but that's kind of part of Halloween that I love
Well, no,
is
like I didn't buy mine for the Jedi thing, but
oh I know, but like I can't speak for you in Halloween in general. I mean,
oh, okay, yeah.
but like part of the joy I have for Halloween is coming up and building your costume
Hmm.
because I could easily go down to Spirit Halloween or Halloween Alley and I could buy a costume, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's just something special when you put that extra work into it.
No, for
When you
sure.
when you put that your own flair, your own design on it. So it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, maybe your costume doesn't look quite right, but you made it anyway. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's the important thing. You could go and get it professionally made, but at the end of the day, it's still yours.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely blanking on like 90% of my Halloween costumes, but there was a good chunk of time where I didn't dress up for Halloween.
Hmm.
Like before going to Centennial, actually, I think that I didn't really dress up at all, except for here and there. Oh, Darth Vader was another one I threw together one year because I had a Darth Vader helmet because of course I did,
Yeah.
and I had a cape because of course I did. And one day for Halloween, or for one thing for Halloween for my youth group, I just threw on a. There's a picture of me somewhere with me wearing like a black Old Navy hoodie where you can definitely see Old Navy, but I have like the Darth Vader helmet on with like the chest piece and then the
You're like,
cape.
guys, you guys like guys. Trust me, I'm Darth Vader. Okay, just trust
Yeah.
me. Trust
How
me.
about how about for you, Matt? What about for you?
Yeah, like I didn't have like too many Halloween costumes and stuff growing up, like, or I don't recall too many. I remember like the only one we bought maybe was like an Obi-Wan costume, but it wasn't even a full costume. It was like one of those lightsabers you could like flick out,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm pretty sure it was just like a brown like robe. I don't think it even had like the tunic part. It was just like the kind of cape and stuff, which of course again you had to wear under your jacket. So it's like I'm a Jedi who wears a jacket. Nice. Like
All
that's
the
that's
time.
always what I wanted to go as. But my favorite one that I like MacGyvered. Okay, let me just say this. The favorite one that I put together myself was obviously my Joker costume in high school. That was a lot of
Oh
fun to
yeah, you
put that
put
together.
together by yourself, Matt,
Well,
completely
yeah,
alone.
yeah. Like I borrowed a couple things
You
from
didn't
people
borrow a
and
jacket from
stole a
someone who was
couple
the
things
Joker
from
the year
people
before.
and like, but then I put it together, like I got all the
Dude,
parts together
actually,
and put it together.
the thing about your Joker costume that impressed me the most, and this is gonna sound like the stupidest thing in the world, but it was the vest that you found. Because
Right?
you found like the
Yeah.
perfect vest.
Yeah.
Like that was the part that like it's like dude, you did a great performance of him too. I'm never gonna take away the performance or the makeup, just the extra like the body language. It was all
Dude, I did that
phenomenal.
like all day, man. That
Oh, I
was
know.
literally my favorite day of high school. Like just going around creeping people out. I'm like, this is pretty great.
Well,
Like
my favorite was
I've
that
always been
you'd see other people walking around with like just the makeup on and then
yeah.
dressed in their street clothes, and then there's you just like
Just like 110%, eh? Like there's not too much that I do 110%, but like shit like that, I'm like I'm all in, man. I'm either not in or I'm all in. Like it's just such an extreme behavior trait. Oh, jeez.
to give full context to me razzing Matt about his Joker costume though, because I don't think people know this, is the year before The Dark Knight came out, I went as the Joker, and no one really reacted to anything because it was like, why are you dressed like that? And the next year, then The Dark Knight came out, and Matt dressed as the Joker and did an amazing Heath Ledger Joker, like phenomenal. As I said earlier, like voice perfect, everything. But he borrowed my jacket, the
So
purple jacket I found. So when he said he threw it together on his own, I have to tease you about that because
I
no,
stole
you
your
stole my
jacket.
jacket.
I'm pretty sure your jacket is still in my closet somewhere. Not gonna lie.
I thought I got it back.
I don't know. I feel like it's still
No,
in
maybe
there.
it didn't.
I
Yeah,
told you I
if I
stole it,
didn't, I mean,
man.
by the time I did it, so I did the Joker a few years later. After that, again, not dude. I could like I couldn't follow your performance. I couldn't follow that. Again, it was amazing, and like it was amazing. Like I just the drama. You did
Oh
the
man.
entirety of drama class. That was every
Dude,
character you
yeah, like
played
I
was just
just
the Joker.
yeah, like improv, I'm still the Joker. Like I'm not changing character. Like I'm the Joker today. Like that's what I'm rolling with, guys. Like
But like the the next time I did it, I bought a gray suit, and I dyed it purple.
yeah,
And I almost liked that one better because it was like a lighter purple.
that would have been yeah. Mine was pretty dark, yeah. But it worked for
Was
like the version like that I was portraying, like Keith
100% man.
Ledger's, yeah.
Like what, dude? You have the curly hair. You have the
Yeah.
perfect
And it
curly
was like
hair. You
long
dyed
for
that.
it too, yeah.
Yeah. Like dude,
Like
like
spray
you
dyed it
nailed it.
green.
Like again, just the faces of people because I think I walked with you a bit too. Like
Yeah.
and just the faces of some people who would like they were like, oh yeah, look, I have the Joker makeup on. They see
Yeah.
you and be like, oh crap. Oh
Like
no.
what? What? Well, like man, like half the school won as Joker that year. I swear, because that was the
Did
big
you
thing, right? That summer,
did
2008.
you scare yourself at all when you were in the Joker? Like catch yourself off guard at all when you were in the Joker makeup or no?
Sometimes like,
Yeah.
well, just like any other like improv type perform, because that's like if you're playing the Joker all day, it's not like I was like I'm scripting out my whole day. You know what I mean? Like it was all just like off the cuff. A lot of it, right? Some of it was like monologue from the film, but a lot of it was just like improv, like just you get into the character, right? So like yeah, there was some moments where it's like that almost felt too far, but like I don't know, people seems to be entertained by it, so just keep rolling with it. Like in drama class even too, right? Like I'm pretty sure I creeped Maria out to the point where she couldn't even like she had like nothing to say. And if you can get Maria to have nothing to say, it's
Yeah.
like you've probably done a pretty good job of creeping someone out, but that
I
was
meant
like
like in the mirror at all? Did you see yourself in the mirror or like a
oh
reflection and
no.
just like so that happened to me the
No.
first year I went. I caught myself. You remember how like they had the paintings and they had the black mats around the
Yeah,
paintings?
yeah.
So there was one time I was walking by it and like I saw just like this white. I forgot that I had my face painted, so I just saw a white face with two dark eyes staring back at me in the reflection. I'm like, what is that? I'm like,
No, I
oh,
did not do that.
that's me.
No, I did not do that.
Oh right, because you were Matt. You're too short to see those reflections.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry, I
got it,
forgot
man.
about
Like,
that.
I can only see like straight into like the whole 3 feet that are like underneath it. Like that's all I could see. So a brick wall. But
Honestly,
that was like the fair one.
the Joker is the only one I remember you dressing up as. But
The
like,
only
did you?
other time I dressed up was after high school, and this one was truly like a MacGyver situation.
Oh, I guess because you didn't dress up in grade 11. It was grade 12 you dressed up in.
Yeah, it was grade 12. I might have dressed up in grade 11, but I don't remember what.
I don't remember
Maybe I just
either.
went as Aladdin. I don't know. Whatever. Like just real classic guys. Like I'm just gonna go
They
as my
wouldn't have let you
character
take
in the
that.
musical. No, probably not.
They
So
wouldn't let you
I
take
was
that
probably just
costume.
like nobody, or I was like, my name's Matt, or like chair on a name tag.
See,
I
I
don't
should have
know.
taken.
It was
See, I should
something.
have taken a note from you there, and I should have just dressed up as an old man because that's all I was in high school was just
Yeah,
an old man.
like I honestly don't remember any other costumes in high school. After high school, I did one other costume that
Yes.
was like it was for Ben's Halloween party. And I did not put together a costume. I can't remember if it was the year after, like 1 year after, or like that 2009 after grad. I think it was 2009. So like just after we graduated, like that like coming like fall. Um and I didn't have like a costume to like wear or anything, like nothing prepared. I was like, shit, what am I gonna wear? And so I'm looking around my house and I got like jeans, okay, obviously running shoes, and I have like a white hoodie, and I got like this black leather jacket that I just got on this trip when I went to BC. I got one with like white stripes. Ethan got one that was just like straight black. Um, and then I found like these two like kind of like toy knives that we had kicking around for whatever reason. I think
Yeah.
we're in the dungeon at this point. Like this is like dungeon days. And like it was not like the knives like when you like would go to stab someone, quote unquote, like it pushed in, right? The blade pushed in so it looked like maybe they actually got stabbed. And then Ethan had these workout gloves. So what I did is like put on like my outfit, like jeans, running shoes, white hood, jacket, and then I put these like tuck these little knives into like my sleeves, and then I used the lips on the workout gloves because they were thick enough to hold the blades back so they were pushed in. And then when I flicked my wrist out, the blade would come out. So what I did is just MacGyvered a modern day assassin suit from Assassin's Creed and showed up to the party as a modern day assassin. And it
I feel
actually
like I
worked
remember that.
pretty well. You probably would have. I don't think you were gone yet.
I don't think so either.
But that was like a straight up MacGyver thing, man. I just looked around what we had at the house and like put some shit together and it worked out pretty good. It worked out pretty good. And like everyone knew what I was right away. I was like, sweet. Like at least Paige knew because she was also into Assassin's Creed. But yeah, I was just like rocking the modern day assassin look, man. Like just went around like whipping my blades out, pushing back in,
You can go to jail for
and
that,
they
Matt.
worked out well. Well, back then it wasn't too much of an issue. Nowadays, probably not a
Matt
great
whipping
plan.
Matt whipping your blade out has never been a great thing to do. No matter what you are or where you are, you should probably keep your blade in your pants.
My blade is not in my pants. I got a blade. Who has a
And
blade down
that's why you have two kids.
there?
I
'Cause I
just
did.
remembered another one that I MacGyvered was
Yeah,
Indiana Jones because my dad went to Mexico and decided to bring me back a whip.
yeah.
So I have a whip
Such a
randomly
really weird thing to bring back.
for your son.
Yeah, it is strange. It is
But
strange.
I'm looking at it right now, like it's actually like in my
Still
closet,
hanging
just
up.
chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, just there. Like I just have it, and I had a old fedora and I had a brown leather jacket, so I just threw together a very crappy off-colored Indiana Jones
Yeah.
because it was like the wrong color leather jacket, it was the wrong color fedora, it was the wrong color whip, it was the wrong color shirt, but I was Indiana Jones, and that I think I threw together. It was in high school. I just don't remember which year. It might have been grade 12.
Hmm.
So that's that's another example, as you asked, of MacGyvering something together.
MacGyvering a Halloween costume. Yeah. Like that's always fun. Like it's kind of like just the peak of creativity, right? Like all of a sudden you're like, shit, I need a costume. Like, what do I got kicking around my house? Like,
Well,
put that together.
I think we can both agree though, those ones are almost more rewarding than the ones you plan out.
Yeah.
Because when someone recognizes what you are and you haven't planned it out, that's just so much more rewarding.
Well, it's just
Even
like
last
reassurance that, like, oh yeah, I did a pretty good job there.
yeah, last year I had a couple people pick out that I was an 80s director.
Yeah.
Everyone kept telling me I should go as Stephen King. Like literally, dude, no, last year was annoying because non-stop by probably at least 10 to 20 people I kept getting told I looked exactly like Stephen King. They're like, "You look like a young Stephen King." And I'm like, "I think I'm offended by that because I've seen Stephen King."
You're just
Like as a writer, thank you. But you're not commenting on my writing. You're commenting on
yeah,
how
my,
Stephen
like,
King looks.
look. You're just
Like, are you talking like pre-car accident? Are you talking cocaine high Stephen
Stephen
King?
King?
Like, what point in your life are you talking about me looking like Stephen King? And like,
I would say
and it
like
was
Ethan Hunt, man. Not Ethan Hunt.
Ethan
That's
Hunt or Ethan Hawke.
Hawke.
That's
Dude,
when
it's
I
like
got to.
super late. Ethan Hawke, actually.
That
I always thought
when
that. I was like, actually, that makes sense. And he's a pretty
specifically
like, he's a good, decent looking man.
if you look at Ethan Hawke in Dead Poet Society when he's like kind of a slightly chubby kid, that's 100%. Like there's pictures of me in high school where I just look like Ethan Hawke from Dead Poet Society,
Yeah.
and it's bizarre.
You're just like,
But, like,
maybe he's my real father.
that's what people have said. They're like, you could play Ethan Hawke's son in a movie, and I'm like, I've thought about it, and it's
it seems plausible.
well, no, there's the movie Boyhood. The kid in Boyhood grew up. It's Ethan Hawke plays the dad in that, and it's one where they
Okay.
like filmed it over 12 years.
Yeah.
The kid kind of looks like me, and it's weird. It's really weird because like I had someone I worked with. She came up to me and she took the back of the cover, which had like the grown up kid.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are you in this movie?" And I'm like, "I'm not. What
You're
are you
like-
doing?"
I wish no one's paying me for this movie.
But the Stephen King thing got so weird because eventually one returning customer started telling her friends and family that I looked like Stephen King.
Oh no.
So I'd have random customers come and be like, "Oh, you're the guy who looks like Stephen King." And I'm like, "I'm the only guy who works here. I'm the only one. So of course I'm the one who looks like Stephen King. Stop it." So that was my backup plan this year, was going as Stephen King for
Yeah.
Halloween. Like I was just gonna literally just put on a sweater and just wear my glasses, and
If you can't beat him, join him, man.
I was trying to think of like different ways to show that I was Stephen King, and
Yeah.
it's like it was my go-to backup plan, but then I decided last minute.
you could just put like a name tag like hello, my name is Steve, and then walk around with a crown. See if anyone gets it.
I was also gonna take a little baggie of flour around too.
There you go. You might as well just complete the package.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. No. No, it is fun.
That was a
Like
good
just to put
question.
together like different costumes and outfits and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, man, that was a good question. I like that.
I thought it was pretty decent for the day. I thought it worked today.
It's a good way to cap off the Halloween vibes. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, if you guys are still listening, remember to go get that late night McDonald's and to, maybe bring us some, or at least think about us at the very least.
Remember, we stayed up
I still
late
want
for you
McDonald's.
guys.
Yeah, I still really want
I
some
know.
McDonald's right now. I'm probably just gonna
This-
eat these dill pickle chips though, to be honest, man.
I'm probably gonna upload something to YouTube and go right to bed.
I might do that too. I'm getting pretty old, for
Well, I
this
guess
shit.
before we fall asleep while recording this, it's probably time that we sign off. It looks like we're both just dozing off. I'm looking at the cameras and just like, can we see our eyes?
Can I see my
Like-
eyes? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling.
Well, that being said, happy Halloween.
Happy
everybody.
Halloween! Woo.
My name is Ethan R. Hill. I am your host tonight, and with me as always is
Matt Black, trick or treat.
We will talk to you guys soon.
Bring
And
me
we will...
something good to eat. McDonald's.
Oh no, Matt. Matt really wants that McDonald's, so we better go so we can finally get it. That said, we will see you all next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.
So long.
Toodaloo.
And happy Halloween.
Ooh, happy Halloween. All right, bye, guys.